Bound is creeping along at about 15 miles an hour, but no crashes on I-10 to tell you about at the moment. We do have a crash, however, on the left shoulder of northbound State Route 51 near Bell Road. A disabled vehicle blocking the right lane on eastbound Red Mountain Loop 202 near Dobson. On the surface streets, we have a collision on 91st Avenue in Thunderbird. A serious crash in the downtown area, 7th Street in Virginia. Crews still working a crash on 31st Avenue in Cactus. This is a crash that involved a rollover SUV and possibly a city bus. There is a crash on Elliott on Gilbert, in Gilbert on Power Road just south of Elliott, and a collision in the Chandler area, Chandler Boulevard east of Kyrene Road. This traffic report is brought to you by YRefi.com. Don't let private student loan debt ruin your life. Go to YRefi.com. That is the letter Y, REFY.com. Troy Barrett, KTAR News.
Luckily, we're not going to hit those triple digits this week. 69 overnight for our low temp, and tomorrow mostly sunny and 93. But we'll see some clouds Friday and Saturday, much like today, with a high on Friday of 87 and on Saturday, 82. Weather brought to you by Howard Air and Plumbing. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air and Plumbing. Right now in Avondale, we're at 93 degrees. I'm Becky Lynn on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos presents The War Room, a political symposium cutting through the noise from the Arizona State Capitol to Washington, D.C. The War Room starts now.
All right, we are in the belly of the beast. Here we go, The War Room, segment number 1. The War Room airs every Wednesday from 5 to 6. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Let's get to our panel. We've got former Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb back. Great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm still getting used to the former piece, but
I know, right?
Yeah, glad to be back. Obviously, I didn't say the wrong thing the last time.
No, you did great.
We've got former Phoenix City Council member Sal DiCiccio. Sal, how are you, man?
Doing great. And Mark, you will get used to the word former.
There you go.
Okay, good. I feel good about it.
And we've got the great Gayle Bass, film, TV, radio. Nice to see you, Gayle.
Former TV.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
All
right.
formers.
I don't want to put on fake eyelashes anymore unless I'm hosting a gala,
Here, here.
for which I'm available, folks.
So, why don't we talk about the text? Why don't we get into what they're calling Signalgate? I think we all know by now it's probably the biggest story on the planet. We had an Atlantic editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, accidentally added to a Signal group chat that discussed the timing and the weapons used in strikes against Iran-backed Houthi militant group
in
Yemen. Yemen. So who was on it? Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth was on it. We had a number of we had like 10 different people on it. The vice president was on it.
Head of the NSA was on it. The Tulsi Gabbard was. There was a long list at one point. Yeah.
All right.
And a reporter,
Marco Rubio.
Which
why? At least for me, why is the White House trying to say this isn't a big deal?
Well, how about this? Why are they trying to say it didn't happen?
Yeah, go ahead,
Well,
Sal.
let me add to that. Okay, so let me put everything into perspective. This is, I'm glad that this came out. So I'm one of those guys that is, because this is an approved system. The Signal's an approved system, and now that it's out there, it's going to change. So the system was approved. The information was not classified. And it was an extremely successful mission.
How is that not classified information with detailed war plans?
Whenever anybody like that talks to each other in the government, that is classified, and it's very easy to get classified channels.
But the
they
Pentagon
really
is
shouldn't have
saying
been
it's
using
not.
Signal.
So
even though they say so, it is.
The Pentagon said not to use Signal because it's been hacked by foreign governments.
So let me just finish on this. It's a big to-do about nothing. At the end of the day, nothing bad happened. All great things came out of this. And at the fact
We got lucky. We got lucky that nothing bad happened. The Iranians weren't tipped off.
Yeah, or that's true. Okay, do I think it was a good idea? No, I don't. At the end of the day, someone should have just said, hey, look, this may not be it. But if you think about it, if it's an approved system, that means other administrations had used this in the past because other people had done it in the past. That doesn't make it right. So I'm glad it came out because it allows for transparency. It allows it to be cleaned up. But the amount of stuff that's going on in Washington, D.C. right now, this hoo-ha is a crack-up.
But the federal government has
it's the Democrats trying to push something that they finally found something.
But they have things that every administration has. They have the skiff, these secure rooms, and
Right.
nothing can penetrate them.
The shield.
Anybody in national security has two computers on their desk. One they can use to talk to normal people. Another one is secure only for secure communication. So they have to know that there is a difference between these two things.
Bruce, I'm agreeing with you. I think the signal should not have been used. I think it was a massive mistake to do that. But the fact that it's an approved system, an approved way of communicating, tells me that this must have been going on in the past. Now, they're going to do an investigation. They're going to look at it. And we're going to find out if other things have been there.
Let's get Sheriff Lamb in on this. What do
Look,
you make
there's
of it?
growing pains. Anytime you start up, these are all new people in these positions. You're starting these groups.
Then why don't they just admit that they screwed up? That's
I
all
felt
I
like
want.
they kind of did initially. I think they kind of chastised the Mike Waltz guy for putting it together. I don't know what they're saying now. Honestly, I've been gone all day. I don't know what they've been saying. These are
What did you
changing
miss?
rapidly, My wife's like, she usually brings me up to speed. Hello, Janelle. So, look, I honestly, I'm with Sal on this. Like, I think it wasn't great, but it didn't. Nobody hurt anybody. When I was on live PD, people would always go, "Oh, you shouldn't have turned your gun side to him." Yeah, but did I get hurt? No. And did everything go the way it was supposed to go? Yes.
But can't you
Are they going to
acknowledge-
learn from this?
Yeah.
I think they will.
I don't think they are. Let's listen to this. This was Fox News' Laura Ingraham with Mike Waltz.
The head of the NSA.
Yeah.
The president expressed complete confidence in you today and his entire cabinet. But how did a Trump-hating editor of The Atlantic end up on your Signal chat?
Laura, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but of all the people out there, somehow this guy who has lied about the president, who has lied to Gold Star families, lied to their attorneys, and gone to Russia hoax, gone to just all kinds of links to lie and smear the president of the United States, and he's the one that somehow gets on somebody's contact and then gets sucked into this group.
So they're blaming Goldberg for getting into a text.
Yes.
He was invited into the
How
chat.
come? Here's the
But I
follow-up
viewed it
question.
a little different.
Why did you have the editor of The Atlantic in your phone contacts?
Yeah.
Well,
that
I
too.
have others on my phone contacts too because I talk to
Because
everybody.
I know who not to answer phone calls
Yeah,
from.
but my ex-boyfriend is called Voldemort, so I know he should not be on any text messages. You use names like liberal crazy or conservative crazy or whatever it is you don't want him on there. You give him a nickname so this nickname shouldn't appear in this chat
But you
about
don't.
war plans.
You don't hear them taking responsibility. You
the
hear him
point
saying
is-
his phone. He thinks his phone got hacked. He's a conspiracy theorist now, as opposed to you're an idiot.
I
First
thought
of
the
all, again,
point
going
was-
back to it, I'm glad this happened because it allows for the system to be cleaned up. It's a big issue for people who want to make it bigger than it is.
The Russians hacked Signal years ago. They hacked the Ukrainian plans because they were using Signal. We've known that the Russians have hacked into Signal. That means the Chinese have hacked into Signal. That means North Korean and Iranians have hacked into Signal.
And they may have already knew that it was going down anyways. So at the end of the day,
Wait a minute,
it
that's
was
not
very successful.
but that's not a good thing to say. They may have known what's going down. We don't want them to know what's going down
Gayle,
anyway.
I'm agreeing with you. At the end of the day, they probably know more information than we think that they don't know, and nothing bad occurred here. What good stuff actually occurred out of this because we now know that this is an approved system that should never have been approved, and that means other administrations had probably been using it.
Can we stop saying but her emails? Because to me it's like emails, text messages. What are the differences? Somebody?
Well, she had
Anybody?
30,000 of them.
Well,
So
she got,
what?
hey, maybe
She got rid of
So
them,
what?
too.
And
30,000.
you know what? And you know
got rid of
what? You know what some of them were?
Okay,
Wedding
let's-
plans.
Okay,
All right.
hold on. Let's go
Yeah.
down that road with Gayle. We're inside the war room. We got former Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb. We got the former Phoenix City Council member Sal DiCiccio, and we've got Gayle Bass, radio, TV, and film. Okay, so if everybody on the right hated what Hillary Clinton did with her emails, why are they okay with what happened with the text message?
Because they're inconsistent.
That's not fair. Why can't
Intellectually
we just,
inconsistent.
Why
I
can't we
don't see 'em
just
as
call?
the two as the same thing?
You don't?
I mean, no. No, look, these guys were. They had a small group. Somehow this guy gets in the group. He's the last person. The point Mike Waltz was making is this is the last person, maybe Jim Acosta, but two of the last people they wanted on this group. So it clearly was.
I don't think they meant to add them to
Unless
it.
they're playing chess and we're playing checkers, I don't think they meant to add him to
So
it.
how do you get in?
I think it was an accident. I think one of the staffers put him in.
One of the staffers put him in. Okay.
But the difference with Hillary Clinton is this woman tried to cover up Benghazi and and then deleted emails and destroyed servers. That is a very different thing. And American lives were lost. Like Sal said, we didn't lose any American lives. The mission still went off without a hitch. But in the case of Hillary Clinton, this is a woman. The Marines' lives were lost, not just in Afghanistan, but you go all the way back to Benghazi. And then you have the gall to destroy all of that. I think that's a big difference. And email is a problem. Let's
play this clip. Senator Kelly was on Arizona's Morning News today.
Oh, this ought to be good.
The message is you fire him. If a junior officer or senior officer in the military, or by the way, a general or admiral did what Hegseth just did, Hegseth would fire him without a doubt.
Let me play another couple here.
This is the ultimate highest level of incompetence I've seen in operational security from a high-level official ever.
Last one.
I'll tell you, when I flew in combat over the first Gulf War, I had a missile blow up next to my airplane, and I survived that. If they would have known I was coming ahead of time, I very likely would have been shot down. And if this information was released, and by the way, somebody on the signal chain was over in Moscow at the time. If the Russians got this information and it went to the Iranians and then to the Houthis, those pilots who launched off of that aircraft carrier about 2 hours after that comment in the signal chain, the risk to them would have gone up significantly.
I want to get Sheriff Lamon on this last word for the segment.
Well, look, he is making an issue out of everything this administration does. Mark Kelly is, I don't know if he's playing for president or what he's doing, but he's made an issue out of everything this administration does. And it doesn't surprise me at all that he finds this. He may not be wrong. I mean, if it would have happened at a junior level, they probably would have got rid of somebody at a junior level. But it wasn't junior level people, it was senior level people. So,
and I agree with Mark on that. I mean, at the end of the day, the Democrats finally found some issue that is really a non-issue to be able to go after. Instead of putting out an agenda, out a policy of what they want to do moving forward, they've decided to attack every single thing that's going on right now
Gayle,
without saying this is what we want.
Last word, Gayle.
I kind of think that they had an issue when they fired the nuclear team and then had to hire them back.
The five people.
That's a problem, though. You should have known that ahead of time.
Out of 50,000.
Yeah, but the people with the codes and all that stuff, you don't fire them outright.
And where was Mark Kelly during Afghanistan withdrawal to call out the total debacle that was that withdrawal?
Right.
Yes, and the apocalypse is happening now as we speak because the world is about to end because of this signal.
All right, we're going to leave it at that. Coming up next, we're inside the war room. We're going to turn to a local issue. Did 3 Phoenix police officers get suspended, or is it a vacation for beating up an innocent man? We're going to talk about that next. The War Room continues.
Hey, I'm going to talk to you about Trajan Wealth. When's the last time you had somebody take a look at your retirement? Have your goals changed? Has your timeline changed? Has your expectation of retirement changed since the last time? Well, when you have one of the fiduciary advisors at Trajan Wealth on your side, they are constantly asking you questions. They're making adjustments. They're taking a look at where you're invested, how you're diversified. How can you reach your goals? Listen, it is complex. It is a Byzantine system, to say the least. And it involves everything from taxes to the right time to take Social Security to exactly how much money you have saved, how much you are saving, and how much you're going to need in the future. If you haven't had somebody take a look at it, I strongly recommend my friends at Trajan Wealth. You can get a complimentary introductory meeting just by giving them a ring. It's 480-990-3300. That's 480-990-3300. You can also find them online at TrajanWealth.com. Required advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Paid advertisement.
KTAR News Flash.
At 5:17, I'm Becky Lynn, and here's what you need to know right now. President Trump unveiling a new round of tariffs from the Oval Office today, this time targeting the auto industry. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
These tariffs now set to go into effect in just a few days on April 2nd and will also apply to American cars that are assembled overseas. This could significantly raise prices for consumers. Nearly half of all vehicles sold in the United States are imported. The goal of the president here to drive up manufacturing in the U.S., and the market's already reacting. Stocks falling when Wall Street got word the president would be implementing these tariffs.
All of our top stories are just 15 minutes away. For more news, go to KTAR.com or the KTAR News app. You're heading home. Let's get a little help from Troy Barrett in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Well, Becky Lynn, that heavy traffic on all the freeways, especially I-10 westbound, creeping along at about 15 miles an hour. We do have a brand new crash coming in on the boards here. It's going to be I-10 westbound in the area of the mini stack. Crash on the left shoulder of northbound State Route 51 near Bell Road as well. On the surface streets, we have a collision 91st Avenue and Thunderbird Road. Serious crash in the downtown area, 7th Street in Virginia. Crews still working a crash 31st Avenue and Cactus. This crash involved a city bus, and this traffic report is brought to you by the Beatitudes Campus. Enjoy an evening of local music and refreshing wines at Beatitudes Campus on April 11th at 6:30 p.m. You can text RSVP to 620-620. Troy Barrett, KTAR News.
It's D-backs week on KTAR, and we're giving you a chance to win tickets to D-backs opening weekend.
This hour's code word is catcher. Catcher.
Enter the keyword now on the KTAR News app for your chance to win.
All right, welcome back
Now,
inside.
Back to the war room. Insight and analysis about the biggest political stories in AZ and DC.
Why don't you wait your turn, Bruce?
I'm ready to rip one, ready to go.
All right.
Inside the war room, we've got Sheriff Lamb, Councilmember DiCiccio, both of them formers. I throw it out there. I didn't want to get it all at once. And of course, Gayle Bass, TV, radio.
Former KTAR.
Yes. So I got to take us back to August of last year when there was a high-profile arrest of a gentleman named Tyron McAlpin. Police officers have been called to a Circle K over a disturbance. They encountered a man there. They spoke to him. The guy said, "I'm not the problem. That guy across the street is the problem." The cops went over across the street. Mr. McAlpin is apparently deaf and suffering from cerebral palsy. The police officers pulled up and within seconds, according to the video, proceeded to knock him to the ground, punching, kicking. He was tased. He spent 24 days in jail, by the way, and they charged him with resisting arrest and ag assault on the police officers. So that happened in August. Yesterday, the Phoenix Police Department announced that the 3 officers, 2 of them were in the squad car, another one was in the area, I want to say, have been suspended for 24 hours, so it's 3 days pay, I'm assuming is how that works, and will also receive de-escalation training.
Should they have been suspended, or should they have been fired, or should they have been just go back to work? What do you think? Let's start with Sheriff Lamb.
Plea put out a statement that thinks they should put up a statue to them.
Let's start with Sheriff Lamb.
Look, I do think that, and I haven't seen the video. I know of the case.
Okay.
It's not good video.
And I will tell you, everybody is a critic when they're not on scene. I've been on plenty of scenes where you get out. We don't know that somebody's deaf. We don't know that they have cerebral palsy. We start making commands. They don't adhere to those commands. Our job is to make the scene safe, and sometimes it doesn't look pretty. We're not in the business of good optics. Clearly, they found something. They held him accountable for 24 hours. But I will tell you,
It was 24 days.
Oh, 24 hours.
The suspension was 24 hours.
24 hours.
That's
24 days that's usually termination. But
yeah, let's clear that up.
Mr. McAlpin was in jail for 24 days on trumped up charges because the officers lied on their police report.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But what
I do.
But what I have to say is, look, all too often, there's a deputy out in L.A. right now, Deputy Trevor Kirk. He went to a call. It was a theft call. It was a black female. He ends up getting in an altercation. She's being non-compliant. Pepper sprays her. Ends up using force, takes her into custody. The county attorney said, we're not filing any charges in L.A., but the feds took the case. And now he's looking at 15 years because he was found guilty on deprivation of rights for going out and doing his job. And I'll tell you what, this isn't the easiest job, and we don't always get it right. But when we start holding cops, when we start unfairly, and I don't know all the details of this, but I see it all too often, unfairly holding cops responsible, you're not going to get anybody to do this job. And if you think crime is bad now, wait till you don't have anybody on the streets.
I'll take my chances over that, over having my Fourth Amendment rights violated consistently.
My guess is Trevor Alpin's probably going to get a nice
$3.5 million is what he's suing for, and he's going to get every nickel of it.
So we don't get it right every time. I'll be the first to tell you. But there's millions of calls where we do.
Of
Nobody
course.
wants to talk about those calls. They only want to focus on the calls where.
Can I tell you why? Because we're supposed to do your job right. Pilots that land the plane right, they're supposed to land the plane.
Doctors kill 250,000 people a year. Police shoot less than 1,000 people a year. Yet you don't see people standing in the hotel or in the hospitals. You don't see body cameras on on doctors.
But we have legitimate police shootings all the time. We have ones where it's obviously, the suspect pointed a gun at the police. We have that all the time, and I don't hear a hue and cry.
I think we all agree, and we don't like to talk about this, but there are times where the mobs and the pitchforks, they tend to drive the public sentiment, and they tend to drive things that why we go after cops. Look, I'm acknowledging that I don't know all the details to this case, so I can't say with specifics. But I will say that on a national level, I think cops all too often become the scapegoats when people failed to respond to commands and we're in the wrong place at the wrong time and doing bad things, and then we ultimately take the heat for it when we were called to deal with the problem.
Well, you have to remember, though, you have cops, that one cop that shot the guy in the back because he stopped him because he didn't pay his child support. He shot the guy in the back and didn't say anything about it. Then you have these guys that had a guy in jail for 24 days and lied on a police report. Those police reports are used in legal cases.
What about the the people who get released too soon? I agree, this is a judge issue holding them for 24 days. But what about the judges who release people and they go back and victimize?
So should police be able to lie? Let's start there. Should police be able to lie on a police report?
If they find that they lied on it, because they can say they lied, but if they're going to go through a whole process with AZ Post, if they find that they lied, they would have fired them. So the fact that they were only disciplined for 24 hours tells me that the public sentiment wants you to believe that they lied, and maybe they.
Well, who told us they lied? Somebody, they released a statement that they lied on the police report.
Well, they dropped all the charges because when the video came out, they're like, well, obviously he didn't assault the police officers. The police officers assaulted him.
Ag assault is normal. If you get somebody that starts fighting with the cops and we're trying to put him in and he's kicking or he's in any way, it's common to get an ag assault.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. But watching the video, you can tell that the man was surprised that anybody was behind him. And I don't even know if he knew it was the cop that was
jumped on him and started punching him.
Put hands on. And I think I
think they should be fired and charged.
Hang on. I think that he started to fight because he didn't know what was happening. I think he thought he got jumped. Okay, we got to run.
They not only didn't de-escalate, they escalated.
I took all the time from Will and from Sal.
Yeah.
Well, all right, coming up next, Bruce, what do we got? War Room, second half.
Walmart says shoppers are running out of money near the end of the month. Trump's approval on the economy has crashed. Is he willing to right the ship or go down with it? We're talking about the economy up next on Outspoken with KTAR.
The KTAR News app is your connection to Arizona's news station for breaking news as it happens, live traffic updates, podcasts, and live streaming KTAR shows. The KTAR News app is presented by Rias Air Conditioning.
Hey, if you're a homeowner, there has never, ever been a better time to try Connecticut Water's twin tank hybrid unit that softens and filters your water. There's a lot of reasons that you should get a Connecticut system. First of all, Arizona's water in parts have forever chemicals in it. Very dangerous. There are carcinogens in Arizona's water. Phoenix, to be honest, certainly was the last time that we saw this. So what does Connecticut do? Connecticut cleans all that out. You don't have any of that stuff in your water. Connecticut will also keep your water heater and dishwasher lasting longer. You're going to get the reduced spotting and etching on your glasses. When you're in the kitchen, it's easier to clean. Bathroom, easier to clean. Why? You don't have all that white film over everything. Chlorine in Arizona's water is a major issue. Connecticut cleans it all out. 602-910-6570. You can check out Connecticut at aquazona.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9861. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9861. That's 800-575-9861. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Attention tax accountants. The following message is for you. Tax season is here, and if you're an accounting firm, the pressure is on. Long hours and tight deadlines make this time of year a challenge for even the most seasoned tax professionals. But this tax season, Blue Jay has your back. Powered by generative AI, Blue Jay is the preferred partner solution of CPA.com for tax research. Ask a complex tax question, and Blue Jay gives you better tax answers in seconds. Save time, maximize your clients' refunds with high-speed, accurate, and intuitive AI technology. Built with a library of only the most trusted tax resources, updated daily to keep up with changes in tax. For a limited time, save 40% off at bluejay.com/start now. That's BLUE, the letter J.com/start now. Or text BLUE to 511-511. Save 40% by texting BLUE to 511-511. Tax accountants, don't leave money on the table. Stress less and text BLUE to 511-511 today. Tax fees may apply.
This is Dave Ramsey. Inflation is putting a lot of pressure on Arizona families struggling to make ends meet. But you can help. When you donate to St. Mary's Food Bank, you're helping neighbors in need, and you're getting a dollar-for-dollar state credit up to $938 for people filing jointly and $470 for those filing individually. You feed others, and your kindness doesn't cost you a thing. So donate today at stmarysfoodbank.org.
Warning, if you're thinking about surgery to fix your chronic joint pain, stop, because surgery can be risky, painful, and come with a lengthy recovery time. But there is an alternative, a groundbreaking therapy that revitalizes damaged tissue with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. QC Kinetics has successfully treated tens of thousands of patients, freeing them from pain in their knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints. Before you resort to invasive surgery, find out if you're a candidate for this advanced regenerative therapy by calling 480-613-7061. Don't let chronic pain dictate your life any longer, and don't risk surgery. Learn more about the joint pain therapy endorsed by professional athletes and available now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. To find out if you're eligible, request a free consultation from QC Kinetics. You owe it to yourself to learn more about this surgery-free alternative with no drugs and no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today, 480-613-7061, 480-613-7061.
KTAR News now.
It's 5:31. Good afternoon. I'm Becky Lynn.
Eyes on Education.
Maricopa County Sheriff Jerry Sheridan joining an effort to respond to truancy in Arizona schools. KTAR's Balanover Stoles is live now in the news center to tell us more.
Yeah, Becky, the call from Superintendent of Public Instruction Tom Horn comes as Arizona grade schools deal with high rates of chronic absenteeism, around a third of students statewide, according to the Helios Education Foundation. Horn wants police to look out for truant students, which Sheriff Sheridan supports.
If parents refuse to have their kids attend school, that's also a crime. And so law enforcement's primary duty is to keep people safe, but I would say a close second is to make sure our kids are safe.
Horn also urges districts to hold back or take credit away from students who miss too many days, saying that could happen after 9 absences modeled after the Dysart School District. Live in the News Center, Balanover Stoles, KTAR News.
The weather's heating up, and that means it's rattlesnake season. Thomas Jones with the Arizona Game and Fish Department says while you don't need to fear rattlesnakes, you should definitely respect them and their space.
If you see a rattlesnake, take a moment to watch it. They're fascinating creatures. And again, give them a wide berth. You don't have to challenge them in any way. Just give them a wide berth, let them go on their way, and you'll be fine, and so will they.
If you do end up being bitten, don't put a tourniquet on, try to suck out the venom, or put ice on the bite. Instead, you're supposed to stay calm, keep the extremity below the heart, and definitely call 911 as soon as possible. It was not a marriage made in discount heaven. ABC's Sherry Preston with more on the breakup for Dollar Tree and Family Dollar.
In 2015, there was a bidding war between Dollar Tree and rival Dollar General for the third in the dollar franchise's Family Dollar. Dollar Tree won and acquired it for $8 billion. A decade later, unable to make the partnership work, Dollar Tree is selling Family Dollar to a pair of private equity firms for just $1 billion.
Time to check on traffic now. Let's go to Troy Barrett live in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Well, Becky, we have heavy traffic on all the freeways right now, and a new crash coming in on I-10 westbound near 16th Street. We have a crash on the southbound I-17 frontage road near the Durango curve, and a disabled vehicle on the right shoulder of southbound Loop 101 near McKellips Road. On the surface streets, injury crash on Indian School Road near 35th Avenue. A crash on 27th Avenue and Deer Valley Road. A collision 91st Avenue and Thunderbird still working there. A crash on McKellips and Miller and Tempe and Cruz still working that crash. 31st Avenue and Cactus, that crash involved the city bus. This traffic report is brought to you by Asset Preservation, Wealth, and Tax. Join Stuart Willis for the Asset Preservation Hour each week as he empowers and educates those in or near retirement. Saturdays at 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m. right here on KTAR. Troy Barrett, KTAR News.
Tonight, clear skies, 69 for our low, 93 tomorrow, and then by Friday, back to the 80s. And Saturday, 82 should be our high. Right now in Buckeye, 91 degrees. Weather brought to you by Howard Aaron Plumbing. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Aaron Plumbing. I'm Dackie Lynn on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
Now, back to the War Room. Insight and analysis about the biggest political stories in AZ and DC.
All right, second half of the War Room. Film, TV, radio host Gayle Bass. We got former Phoenix City. I'll get to all the former. We got former Phoenix City Council member Sal DiCiccio and the former Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb. Let's turn our attention to the economy. Trump's approval on the economy has crashed 20 points since he started this year. It is 20 points lower than where it was. So here's even more bad news for Trump and the economy. Inflation and economy is the voters' top issue.
You could argue that's why Trump won the election.
Under 40% say Trump's prioritizing it. So if you have a list of 10 things, I think this is a CBS poll. The economy and inflation are number 6 and 7 on the list. Why so low? This is the number one issue for everybody. This is what everybody wants to see flourish in America is the economy. And it seems like it's kind of on the back burner unless you talk about tariffs.
I just honestly, I think Americans are. You let it go for 4 years. This guy destroyed the economy.
I don't think he destroyed it.
Oh my God, I'd be great.
And
I think inflation was
economists say that Biden left us a good economy, and I'm going to go with the economists because I didn't take a single.
Inflation was up, so my 401k beat it by a ton. I'm happy.
Complete opposite. Credit card debt
is a disaster.
Trillion.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So people were still spending, but that doesn't mean it was a good economy. And Americans have given this guy 2 months, and now they've said he can't fix it. If you and your household run up all your credit cards and you incur $50,000 to $100,000 in debt, you're not fixing that in 60 days. It takes a little time, and I think that it's going to get a little rougher before it gets better. That's part of fixing a broken economy.
I don't think that's fair to economists because economists do take that and other things that we're not aware of into consideration. The fact of the matter is the economy was good. I did really well under Biden. A lot of people did well under the Biden. The stock market did well under Biden. It went up during Trump's.
Yep.
And then it dipped. And then when Biden took office, it went up again. Inflation was a sticky matter that cost an election. Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is the economy wasn't bad.
This is why I say economists are wrong, because if economists were right, then the American people would have voted Joe Biden back in.
Well, but you can't have it both ways. You can't say people didn't like the economy under Biden, and now that they're souring on the Trump economy, but now they don't know what they're talking about. No, they don't like it.
That makes sense here.
I've got to interject on this one here.
Let's get Sal DiCiccio in.
It takes at least 9 months before you transition out of an economy. It takes actually longer than that. But let's say it's a minimum of 9 months. We're still dealing with a Biden economy right now. So what you're starting to see with the Trump administration is something that no one's ever done before. He's taking a look at the tariffs and at the same time reducing the amount of regulations in this country. Nobody's ever done this before.
I'm all for reducing regulations.
Actually, they have.
Yes.
They
all
actually
for it.
they have.
No, they
yes,
have not.
and it was right before the Great Depression.
No. You know what,
That's a
though?
long
And if
time
you go
ago.
back into the funding of the Spanish-American War, it was done through tariffs. We could go all the way back, all the way to the beginning of time. But the fact of the matter is that with this type of economy, with the technological economy we have right now, no one has ever done this, where you improve it, you make it hard, you protect the American workers, and that is critical. You protect them with
You
these
don't
tariffs.
really believe we're going to start
do.
building factories?
Oh,
we're going to
no,
make
I
flat
do.
screen TVs
I
here, and
absolutely
really,
believe we're starting to
when
move
can
in that
we
direction.
can we bet on this?
We are, yes.
You and me. We'll bet dinner. I'd love it.
Oh my gosh, I would love to do it.
When the
First
first
of all,
flat screen
we
TV's
should always
made
do-
in the United
So,
States, we're going to have dinner. Because I'll tell you, it ain't ever happening.
Where's our dinner
Finish
at?
this thought.
One at a time.
So the fact of the matter is, this is a transition to a new, different, let me speak better, but to a different economy where you're going to have protectionist policies at the same time deregulating, protecting American workers, being able to have jobs in this country. Yes. It's
Who are
going to
these
be hard to
companies
bring-
that are going to come back and
Well,
build
they're already
factories
starting. We
back
have
in the
close
United
to $2
States?
trillion,
And who are they going to
$2
hire?
trillion. It's going to be from the technological to the automobiles, and others are coming in here. What's happening is there's a destabilizing occurring in the entire world right now. Taiwan, other places want to move their money into this country. That's exactly what's happening.
Well, they did
right
before
now.
March. Because the European
the fact
markets
of
and
the
Asian
matter is,
markets are up and the United
this
States is down.
I believe that this is going to be one of the biggest boom we've ever seen in
When?
this country. Ever.
When?
It's going to take about a year and a half to 2 years before we
You
start
think
seeing it.
American public has the patience to wait
No,
2 years?
they don't.
Oh, okay.
They can't vote for
It's a
four,
foundational.
Right, so that's the argument.
Excuse
It's
me.
a realignment
They can
that's
vote in
occurring in this
two.
country.
Yeah.
It's a realignment.
All right.
And I'm excited about
So
it.
we're inside the war room. We've got Mark Lamb. We've got Sal DiCiccio. We've got Gayle Bass, Bruce and Gaydos. We're talking, of course, about the economy. We're seeing the Walmart sound the alarm. They're saying people have run out of money by the end of the month. We're seeing that when they come in, they're buying less and less. Let's say you're going to buy, you need to go buy something much smaller bags.
Instead of the 8 packets, the 4-pack. Yeah.
We've seen the airlines come out and say people are not buying the tickets that we thought. So my question is, are we headed towards a recession? And it seems that Trump's okay with that if he can do what Sal says he can do, which I don't know.
Well, they've been predicting recessions from last year in the first quarter, maybe ending after the second quarter of this economy this year. So economists have been talking about this for over a year now, that we're going to be heading into a recession. I don't know if we are or not. I don't see it happening right now. I think we're still pretty strong. But we don't know what we don't know. And I think Trump knows enough about it. That's why that they're kind of like walking it back a little bit, saying, hey, this might happen. And I think that opens it up to a possibility that this is going to happen.
So you mean part of the plan is we're going to have tariffs? No, we're not going to have tariffs. Yes, we're going to have tariffs. We're not going to. That's part of the plan, is what you're saying.
Well, you got to.
Because I think that's ridiculous.
When you're dealing with a negotiation like that, I think if you look at what happened with Mexico, he came in hard, and what they're doing with Canada right now, I'm all for it. Believe it or not. Because at the end of the day,
how are you okay with the Canada stuff?
Because it's reciprocal tariffs.
They're charging us tariffs.
I get it. Tariff on dairy.
But how is it that we allow other countries to tariff
with
us, and then when we turn around and go, hey, we're going to start tariffing you, even Americans are like, whoa, what are we doing?
But we're going to hate them. We don't like the Canadians
No,
anymore.
you don't have to hate them. Just want to treat them
state.
exactly like they treat us. Can I tell you what's also
I think Americans like cheap products. Full stop, period.
That is true.
And they honestly don't care where they come from, and they couldn't care less about a tariff.
Yes.
Because the parking lots at Walmart are full of people buying stuff from China. And they don't care.
Now let's go back to Canada.
Is upset right now
for a
because
second.
we're cutting off their funding.
Canadians aren't coming here.
Yeah.
And that's going to hurt Arizona. Canadians come here all the time. And there's a story out today.
What is it, like
in droves?
Look, you can't
they're
fix
saying we're not
problems.
coming.
You cannot fix problems without a little pain.
But we didn't have a problem with Canada. I was like, what?
You know what the world's upset about?
Why did we pick a fight with Canada?
They wanted our money. I read just 2 days ago, Australia's now mad at us. You know why? We've cut out over $400 million to their universities. What the hell are we funding their universities for? We don't need to be doing that. We need to be funding American universities.
Why are we increasing defense spending at the same time?
That's it. We're going to leave it right there. We got the last segment of the War Room coming up.
Yeah, last segment. Okay, here's something.
I love you.
Why isn't Governor Hobbs playing a bigger role, a leading role in that stadium bill to keep the Arizona Diamondbacks in downtown Phoenix? We'll talk about it next. We're Outspoken on KTAR.
All right, America Roofing. Hey, they're coming over to my house this week. I like to get my roof checked out. I like to make sure that before summer gets here, it was 99 yesterday. I know it's spring, but summer will be here soon. I want to make sure that my roof is ready to go. In Arizona, this is what we deal with. The sun, blazing down on your roof. Obviously, the air that is so driest air in the world, and we have the monsoon. So what you want to do is just make sure your roof is healthy. It's really simple. So I called America Roofing. I mentioned Gaydos, by the way. They thought that was funny. 602-960-ROOF. What they'll do for you, same as me, they'll do for you. It's a free evaluation of your roof. They'll get up there. They'll check the attic. They'll make sure you're ready to go. If there's something wrong, they're going to show it to you. Repairs, replacement, you can get 10% off if you mention Gaydos. Great local company, in business for 25 years. I'll tell you how my visit with America Roofing went. They're coming this week. 602-960-ROOF. America Roofing. We've got you covered.
Hey, need a new water heater? Because day and night, air conditioning, heating, and plumbing, they have the perfect solution right now for your home. Paul Calvisi here, and for a limited time, get up to $250 off a traditional water heater or $750 off a tankless water heater. That's right, whether you're replacing an old unit or upgrading to tankless for endless hot water, their expert plumbers make the process quick, hassle-free. Just visit them online at dayandnightair.com. That's dayandnightair.com. The difference is day and night. Limited time only. Conditions apply.
When you're hurt in an accident, results matter, and Sweet James stands above all the rest. They deliver the best medical care, the most amount of money, and justice to every single injured victim. You're not just another number. You're a real person who deserves the best. Oftentimes, the attorneys at Sweet James represent a second chance at life for many clients. They take that seriously. If you're ever hurt in an accident, call Sweet James at 800-9-MILLION. That's 800-9-MILLION. 800-900-0000 or sweetjames.com. Proud partner of your Phoenix Suns.
Hey, who wants 2 tickets to the Ford Championship to see the ladies of the LPGA teeing it up March 27th through the 30th? Yep, Paul Calvisi here, and all you have to do, get a test drive at our Metro Phoenix Ford dealers, and you can get 2 general admission tickets to see the best of the LPGA. We're talking 19 of the top 20 players are coming to the Ford Championship outside of a major tour stop. It is rare to see this many top golfers, and they're all going to be there at the Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass, and you can be there if you get a test drive at our Metro Phoenix Ford dealers, and you can choose any new vehicle in that Ford lineup to test drive. Try the all-time best-selling SUV in America, the Ford Explorer. We love the Explorer we just bought. Hey, experience the Ford Bronco Sport, versatile, rugged, and smart. Of course, you can always test drive the best-selling line of pickups for 48 years running, the Ford F-Series, the epitome of built Ford tough. But hurry, tickets for the Ford Championship, our first come, first serve, will only be available while supplies last at our Metro Phoenix Ford dealers.
KTAR News Flash.
5:45, I'm Becky Lynn, and here's what you need to know right now. State Schools Chief Tom Horn says as Arizona schools deal with high rates of chronic absenteeism, police should look out for truant students. Maricopa County Sheriff Jerry Sheridan supports the idea and says police could issue citations to parents or students. Horn also urges districts to hold back or take credit away from students who miss too many days. All of our top stories are just 15 minutes away. For more news, go to KTAR.com or the KTAR News app. Getting you home now. Here's a little help from Troy Barrett in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Thank you, Becky Lynn. We're starting to see several freeways recover, but still very heavy traffic on I-10 westbound. We have a crash on I-10 westbound near 16th Street. A crash on southbound I-17. That's the frontage road near the Durango curve. On the surface streets, we have a stalled vehicle on Bethany Home Road, the exit off of State Route 51. 32nd Street and Southern, a crash, and 16th Street and Broadway, a collision there as well. This traffic report is brought to you by Y-Refi. Don't let private student loan debt ruin your life. Go to YRefi.com. That is the letter Y, REFY.com. Troy Barrett, KTAR News.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best, just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. Call 480-990-3300. That's 480-990-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-961-5544. 800-961-5544.
Now, back to the War Room. Insight and analysis about the biggest political stories in AZ and DC.
We're inside the war room. Oh, my goodness. We got a whole nother war room going on during the breaks, for goodness sakes. But we want to jump into this right now. There is a pending legislation to refund the Arizona Diamondbacks taxpayer dollar, taxes that they would pay. They would get to keep that tax money and then use it for their own uses at the stadium, improvements, etc. One of the questions we have is, should the governor be playing a bigger role in this?
Let's start with Sal DiCiccio.
Oh, okay.
What do you think? Because there are different parts. There's Maricopa County. The mayor of Phoenix has jumped in.
Yeah. Mayor Gaydos has been strong on this.
Right. We've got the Diamondbacks, obviously. Should the governor be the one to have everybody sit at the table? Because that's not happening right now.
That's really what should happen. I mean, that's what a leader does. Whether you agree with it or not, that's what you end up doing. You've got to bring parties that are disparate in their viewpoints to be able to sit down and talk it through. So at least you're able to hear them all at one time in the same room. And that's why, these types of negotiations or discussions are critical. I don't know enough about the bill that you're talking about, and so I don't want to talk about something I wouldn't know about. But overall, it depends on the funding sources. Is it new money being generated by the stadium, or is it old money? It all comes down to the word depends on what it says.
Yeah.
It depends on what the language of the bill does and the structure of the bill. But it's critical to have one person be able to drive this. You have to have a driver on any issue that you've got going on in politics. If you don't have a leader that's willing to take a risk, because it's a risk one way or the other.
Who should the
That's
driver
always
be?
done that way. The governor really should be the lead on this.
Look at President Trump on a national level.
Yeah,
he
but-
drives a lot of these.
Yeah, but think about this.
Who else?
What were other governors involved when we got the stadiums? What were their roles? What was Jan Napolitano's role? What was Jan Brewer's role?
So Burton Barr was the leader at the legislature at the time because he called me on it when the stadium was coming in.
Which stadium are we talking about?
This was the baseball stadium.
Got it.
The original.
Back when it was
Yes.
Banquet
The
Hall.
Bob.
Yeah.
Yes.
the
Okay,
Bob,
okay.
yeah. So because Burton Barr was the head guy at the time at the legislature, and he was the leader at the time, leading the charge on this. Whether it's the Speaker of the House, the President of the Senate, or the governor, something this big requires one person to be able to pull the parties together so that that person can hear it and set the direction. That's how these things are done.
Well, because this isn't necessarily a partisan argument, is it? I mean,
it's not
there
partisan
are
at
D's
all.
and R's that, by the way, are for and against it, apparently, according to the last votes on this. And I mean, is there a bigger discussion about? Because I think we've.
I actually like the deal because in the past, taxpayers are giving money, footing the bill.
Yeah.
What we're saying here is, my understanding is, we're going to rebate the taxes that you will pay.
Only the people that go to the
Which
game.
is, by the way, the money they earned in the first place. I was saying in the break, we've become this Stockholm syndrome for taxes all of a sudden. Now everybody on a national level is like, whoa, we have to pay taxes. No, I think that we should look for every opportunity to reduce the money that people are paying in taxes so they can go buy more goods at the stores. That drives the economy.
Because the argument would be that if the Diamondbacks weren't there, they wouldn't generate a penny in taxes.
And they generate an exorbitant amount of money. There's other companies, a company in Scottsdale, a law enforcement company, Axon, is currently going through the same type of problem.
Right.
And we're in jeopardy of losing a business that pays $400 million in salaries and $1.5 billion are generated in the state of Arizona. And we might lose those because we can't get the right leader in place to put the politics.
To Mark's point on that, if it's being paid by the individuals who are attending the games, why not? Let them be the ones that pay it because it's just going to increase their ticket price.
Well, my problem is I'm with Kate Gallego here as a resident of the city of Phoenix. I don't want it to cost the city anything because as a taxpayer, I don't want to pay for that. I'd rather have other stuff paid for, like, I don't know, elementary school districts that are going broke.
Well, and so here's the question.
$50 is better than nothing.
Right.
And if you lose the D-backs, then Phoenix gets nothing.
It was hundreds and hundreds of millions
of dollars.
Don't get me wrong. I want us to keep it. I want us to keep PIR.
And all we're saying is we're allowing them to keep more of the money they produce.
Yeah.
It's not the state of Arizona's money yet.
And it goes to infrastructure.
It's the D-backs money that they are now going to get a rebate on the taxes they pay. I think it's worth it. I think it's valuable. I think the original question was, there should be a leader. I would love to see a Hobbs or somebody, or a Burton Barr or somebody step up and lead it. Warren Peterson, somebody.
Yeah.
I think
remember, the Diamondbacks brought in $100 million for their playoff run to the World Series to the economy of Phoenix. $100 million in the playoff run.
That's huge.
So you can't lose this team.
Let's let them keep some of their money. Maybe they don't pay as much taxes, but then you keep it, and it still generates money for the restaurants.
Agreed.
Think about all those small restaurants who will lose their businesses.
Or people who work the events at non-Diamondback games, concerts.
All these people, let them keep some of their tax money.
I'll be the libertarian in the room. It's $500 million to $1 billion. No, also that we're going to have to make up for in Maricopa County and Phoenix, and I have a feeling they'll raise my taxes to do that and make up the difference. That's my problem. All right. Hey, thank you guys all for being here in the War Room today. Sal DiCiccio, Gayle Bass, Sheriff Lamb, appreciate you guys' time and your input into this. Checking the headlines on the way. And hey, the next time you travel outside the U.S., you might want to have the U.S. Embassy's phone number on your speed dial. We'll tell you why. It's coming up next to Outspoken on KTAR.
All right, the Lund Mortgage team, I want you to call them. I want you to say Gaydos sent you, and guess what? They're going to treat you like family. That's their motto. They live it every single day. So the question is, do you feel like you're ready?